Hello and welcome to JRock's Babylon. I am your host, Jason JRock Houston, and we have two of the members from the band OG8. We have Jaime, the lead singer, and we have Troy, the guitar player. Now, how you guys doing?
Fabulous. So happy to be here with you. How are you?
Yeah, and if you guys don't mind, I'm going to share with the folks. We have a little kind of behind the scenes story going on. This is not the first rodeo at interviewing these guys. Original interview took place last week, and I did not know until I went to post the interview online that we had a little glitch in the fact that Troy and I were showing up on the screen, and then when Troy would be talking, of course, it would show Troy, and he was talking, the words coming out of his mouth, but then for some reason, Jaime wasn't showing up on the screen, and when her voice would appear, it would be coming out of Troy's mouth, so to speak, or that's what it looked like. So we definitely wanted to have the interview with everybody taking part. We wanted people to be able to see Jaime as much as Troy and me, So this is our second try, so that's kind of a story behind the story. But let's get into it now. For any people that didn't get a chance to experience the first interview, which has since been taken down, tell us again, you guys, the story behind the name, because that's one of the things that really, when I got the press release on the band, OG8, everybody kind of knows what that means. That's kind of an old kind of, original, but I couldn't figure out what's the eight. So talk us about how you came up with that name, because the name, I think, OG8, it's kind of short, but it's like, well, what is that?
Jaime, you want me to do it or do you want to do
Yeah,
it?
go. You take it. Go ahead.
Okay, all right. So in the beginning of this, the band had what it ultimately became is 8 members. So we've got guitar, myself, singer Jaime, bass Phil, keyboards George, drums Michael Underwood, and then we've got Drew Canulet, who is our engineer producer, and then Mark Levinson, who's our attorney, and he's been a family friend for years and years. So that's the 8.
Wow, I love that, and if you look at any of the great like kind of classic bands, I mean, one that just kind of comes to mind, like something like Parliament. I mean, you guys don't sound anything like that, but if you looked at any of their classic videos or stuff, you go on YouTube and check out what they did live. It was like they had about like at least 8 or 9 guys in their band.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so now, Troy, you were sharing with me that I believe you're the founding member of a band, and that when you formed OG8, you were writing the stuff with a female vocalist in mind. You want to talk a little bit about that?
You bet. Yeah. In my mind, I think that the timbre and the sound that comes out of a female, especially Jaime, I mean, she's like, fire. So that to me, it gives me more of a palette to be able to sonically produce the frequencies that I'm doing in the chords that we're playing. And the chords that we're playing on these songs, Jason, are unique because each one of the songs is in a different key, a different tuning, and also a different time signature.
Okay, so Jaime, why don't you share us your story of what was the point when you first hooked up with Troy and became a part of this, and what that was like for you?
Yeah, for sure. So my journey into Original 8 or OG8 started a couple years ago. It was actually, I think, around summer of 2023, so a few years now. And Troy was looking for a female singer. I didn't know Troy then, but we have a mutual friend that lives in Vegas. And so Troy knew him from, I guess they grew up together. They've known each other for years. And so he reached out to him and asked him if he knew any female singers in Vegas. And he's like, of course, here's a few. So that's how we initially got hooked up. And we first jumped on a phone call together just to get to know each other a little bit. And it was actually really cool because the day that we actually ended up speaking for the first time turned out to be on my birthday that year. So it was kind of like a kismet, just kind of like it was interesting. It was definitely a cool moment.
That reminds me
Um,
I remember reading the story of David Coverdale actually becoming the lead singer of Deep Purple in 1973 on his 21st birthday.
oh, cool.
Yeah.
Kismet.
Yeah. So we spoke, and then Troy and his wonderful wife Mary came down to Vegas, as well as the drummer Michael Underwood and our amazing engineer producer Drew Canulet. He came down. They all came down, saw me do a show in Vegas, and the rest was history. Then I teamed up with them, and we started writing and making music together.
Now, let me ask you guys about the kick-ass new single "Woman," because as we were talking last week about it, when I heard it for the first time, I mean, the attitude, the vibe is kind of like "Woman, Hear Me Roar." I mean, Jamie, the whole attitude of the song, her vocals kind of reminds me of like a modern day Janis Joplin, as I was telling you guys. And I was curious. You're talking about the fact, Troy, that when you first started writing these songs, you had a woman in mind. I was curious. I think I know the answer to this, but I want to ask anyways. Was the song "Woman" already written before Jamie joined, or like, did you have the music down and she wrote the lyrics? Or talk a little bit about that.
We started recording the album, and you're right, it is an ass kicking song, and Jamie nails it. But on the pretense of like the album, I thought we should probably have a 1-4-5 blues in there somewhere. And so Michael Underwood, myself, Phil Baker, and Drew Canulet, we were recording the day before, and it had gone late into that night and the next morning, and we probably crashed around 3:30. And then we had one more song to do, and it was this one, "Woman." So we got everybody up, and everybody was in the basement, Mike, Phil, me, and Drew. And we were trying to kind of wake up. So we thought it'd be a good idea to take a couple shots of vodka. And then instead of us doing it to a click, which we usually do, we just winged it. And it turned out that song sounds like it's to a click, but we didn't. It's all free form, and it's all free.
Yeah. So I was curious. It sounds like you're kind of just jamming out the song. It kind of reminds me of seeing Steven Tyler talk about how he does this little thing called scat tracking, where he just kind of he doesn't even know what he's gonna sing. He just starts rhyme scheming and see what comes out. Is that kind of what you did, Jamie?
Yeah, that I do have a similar process writing songs. So I was listening to the music because they had laid down the music on the track, and it just I'll come up with kind of a melody to go along with the song, the music that they're playing. And so that one in particular, "Woman," it just came out pretty quickly. That one came easy. But I was just hearing it, I was like, WOMAN. And I was like, okay, it's got to be this,
Yeah, that's the other thing. Again, I watched the lyric video, and I think it's very informative. It's very the message really comes across if you watch the lyric video loud and clear. I was curious now in watching the video, like when you see the word "woman," it's got periods behind that. Is that any significance, or just kind of to make it look bigger?
Yeah, you know what? It's funny. One of my best girlfriends just asked me the same question, but it wasn't to stand for anything in particular. It was just because it was like, I am woman, period. Hear me roar, recognize kind of thing. So I just thought it looked cool, like W, and I'm spelling it out in the song.
It's like an explanation.
Yeah, WOMAN.
Yeah.
Writing it in your brain.
I could see too, like when you're performing it live in concert, I could see like that kind of being your version of "Rock and All Night," where you either close or open the show, and you're like, W, oh.
Yeah, no, I love that song. We actually have closed with that song before because it's just such a great kind of fun jam out, feel good, vibey song. So it's a fun one, and I'm so happy that we are.
You know what I love? I love the whole attitude of the song, and it is woman empowerment, and at the same time, it doesn't come across as preachy, if you know what I mean. It's like, this is just kind of what I was feeling, and this is what came out, and like, I don't think that you guys went in there with let's write a woman empowerment song. It's just kind of that's what came out.
I'm sure that's not what the guys were thinking.
Right, exactly.
But you have a female lead singer, and I'm all about empowering the women. I love my girls, so it's very naturally. It just came to me. It's very natural to me.
And I want to ask you this, Troy, again, because in watching the lyric video, very nicely done, as we talked about. You guys told me last time you had had this video company do it for you guys, and they're super what they do, I can tell you. But I did notice, and I kind of understand why. Don't get me wrong. Jamie's a featured one in the video, and I was kind of curious. Do you and the other guys in the band kind of just like to stay in the background, if you know what I mean, and let her do her thing, or would you rather it be a video where everybody's featured?
I think if it were up to me, I would probably have everybody featured in something in some way.
Yeah.
But for Jamie and that song, I mean, it's perfect, and
Yeah,
it did just come naturally.
That's why I asked, because I could, like I said, when I asked that, I could kind of see why she's the feature, because it wouldn't really make sense having you, front and center singing that, Yeah.
You were correct.
Yeah. So, I mean, I could see that, and that could be her, since maybe she doesn't play an instrument, that could really be her one moment in the, in the show where she, like maybe you do a guitar solo and then she comes, that's the last song, and that's her moment.
That's firepower. Nice.
Yeah. And so Jamie, how is it being? I don't know if this is something you guys think a lot about, but as you said, Troy, that you specifically wanted to have a female singer, and I think that has a lot to do with the fact you're telling me you played in countless bands over throughout your life, and I don't know if you've ever played with another female, but it might have done for the simple fact is, hey, let's try something different, right?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I wasn't, set on anybody until we met Jamie.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, after we met Jamie, everything felt like the last puzzle piece was found.
Yeah. And so Jamie, you want to share with the people, like, how old were you when you first started singing, or you knew that you wanted to do this professionally?
Yeah, so this is a little bit of a different kind of story. I didn't actually start singing until I was in my 20s.
Wow.
But I grew up dancing, like ballet, jazz, tap, all that stuff growing up, and did acting as well. But so I did a little bit of singing, but it wasn't like in the forefront at that point growing up. So I moved to Vegas and started performing in shows out here, and just really had a desire to sing. So I really worked hard on trying to develop my voice and really learning how to use it. And I was able to make that transition from a professional dancer to a professional singer here in Vegas. So I've been doing it now for a long
being
time.
a dancer, it's centered around music, and it's a little different. The music's coming out of you. You're sitting down and writing these original, lyrics. But let me ask you, like, as far as making that transition, were you nervous, like a lot of people? When you get up there on stage first time, you're a front woman, and you're
Terrified. I was terrified to sing back in the day. I mean, I was like shaking before I had to go on stage. Yeah, and even before, like anything that you do for the first time,
sure.
is scary. So yeah, I used to be terrified, and I still get nervous. If it's something new or something that I'm excited about, or just something in general that's important.
It's kind of funny because, like, even doing these interviews like I do, I've been doing them. I've been doing them over 17 years now, so I'm kind of grown accustomed to doing them. But I remember first when I was learning how to do it, I did it very differently. Like I had a set question. All my questions were written out. I was like very proud of it, but then I noticed when I go back and listen to it, it sounded kind of robotic. Like what I'm doing with you guys, I talk to you more like I'm talking to an old friend, talking about your album, your music. And I started picking up, even watching this stuff back. Oh, you say a lot, or you do this a lot. You don't realize certain speech patterns you have.
Totally.
That's all part
exactly.
of the, And so, Troy, let's hear a little bit about your story as far as how old were you when you first started playing the guitar? Kind of, okay, this is what I want to try to do professionally.
Okay, so 73, my parents gave me a blue Ludwig Sparkle drum kit.
Oh, wow.
And I took lessons, and I learned how to play drums first. And then it wasn't until I was 8th grade summer, and I sat in my room pretty much the whole summer with a guitar, and I had Eric Clapton's Slow Hand, Peter Frampton Comes Alive, and Led Zeppelin 2. And I learned those note for note. And then eventually I was playing out live a lot, in high school.
Sure.
But it came to a point where I didn't really want to play other people's stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was more fun to do something that came from the heart and your own soul. You know?
Yeah, and of course, when people are starting out, as musicians, it is a kind of standard practice. Start out playing covers, learn how to play other
Mhm.
people's music first before you
Mhm.
try to write your own song, because
Exactly.
I got to tell people, I'm not a musician myself. I couldn't play a lick. I can't do what you do on guitar. So I have a huge respect for musicians, Troy, that do what you do. Get up there on stage. I could never do it, but at the same time, um, like it's very interesting because I've interviewed a lot of musicians over the years, and for example, reason I ask this is you'd be amazed how many like you're saying. Well, I didn't start out on the guitar. I started out as drummers, and it's amazing to find out how many drummers went on to become like great singers. You mentioned guys like Don
Yeah.
Henley, Steven Tyler
Steven
started out
Tyler.
as a drummer. Janie Lane from Warren started out.
Yeah.
Phil Collins,
Yeah.
he wasn't originally the lead singer in Genesis. He was a drummer,
Right.
and they needed a singer, and
Yeah.
he started doing both.
Yeah. Eagles.
Yeah, Don Henley. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. So, um, and I don't know, when you were a drummer, like how did you feel about being the guy in the back of the stage? Did that bother you at
Loved
all?
it. I just wanted to be as loud as I could, and I wanted to use baseball bats, and I wanted to play like John Bono.
Okay, wow, wow. And so, when you made that transition to the guitar, did you know right away, hey, this is more my thing?
It was pretty much immediately. Plus, I didn't have a drum kit any longer. But I love playing guitar. It just came naturally, and it cured all of my pain
Yeah, yeah.
playing guitar.
And I bet once you start writing your own songs, because that's when that's where the money is, and that's where you really. I mean, no, I mean, if you could play other people's music, that's why people like they laugh at tribute bands. They say, "Oh, well, they're just playing other people's music." But you know what? I've been to enough of these tribute shows. But
Mhm.
to me, I call it rock and roll theater.
Yep.
Some of the really good ones, they can not only play the songs, but they look the part. I mean, I seen a Guns N' Roses tribute. They were
Yep.
so good. I thought the guy looked like he was Axl Rose from 1987.
I've seen some of that. You're right. They're
Yeah.
really, really good musicians too.
And you'd be amazed in Hollywood, like
Mhm.
Los Angeles, around here where I live. Um, Tribute bands are still like pretty big out here, and they have still what's called pay to play. I don't know if you ever heard that, where the
Mm-mm.
band's got to like guarantee, okay, we'll give you guys a bunch of tickets. You give these all out to your fans and guarantee you can fill the place, and we'll have you back.
Butts and seats.
Yeah, butts and seats. So, how often have you guys got to play out live?
Jamie?
We've only done a few shows, but we're more in the studio right now, but we're gearing up to do a whole bunch of shows coming up starting this spring and summer. We're going to start touring around and really getting out there. So we're really excited about that.
Last week when we attempted to interview you guys, one of the things I had asked you is, so again, like I was telling you guys, sometimes things happen for a reason. Maybe this is a reason to happen. I was asking, of your current album that's out, the latest one, what do you each had a favorite track? You guys kind of agreed that, that your favorite was like maybe the song Change. I got a chance to listen to that today. And again, let's talk about that song because it really is a standout song. I urge people to go check it out. What I liked about it is, okay, we talked about woman, it's woman empowerment, it's a kick-ass rock song. This is kind of, I think, the complete other side of what you guys do.
Pretty emotional.
Yeah, pretty emotional. And the interesting thing is, when it starts off, I think it's kind of like I'm telling myself, okay, it's kind of a ballad type song. But what's interesting is I wouldn't really call it a ballad. I would maybe describe it better, saying it comes across as very epic. That's a great,
Love that.
I love that. Epic.
yeah.
I feel the same way about that song. That song is it's just a special song. As I mentioned to you previously, it was the first song that I wrote with OG8 when I came into the band, and it just spoke to me. And it was yeah, it's about being vulnerable, and it's about standing on the edge of this precipice of like change. You know that you need to change. You know that your life needs to change, but it's scary because you don't know what's on the other side of that. And so it's almost like you're taking a leap of faith off a cliff. That's what it feels like, but you know that you need to do it, and you don't know what's on the other side.
Yeah, and so now, Troy, I was curious, did your guitar riffing come first, or did your riff inspire the lyrics, or did it come together at the same time?
The riff came together all at the same time, and ironically, it came to me on an acoustic guitar upstairs. And I immediately ran down to the studio, recorded it, and that was a few years ago. And then Jamie brought it to life.
Yeah, and we talked a lot last time, Troy, about the fact you're coming from your home studio there where the album was recorded. You guys all get together, I guess, there, and that's your home for that.
Yeah.
I was curious, like when you were recording the album, like were you guys in there for like several weeks? Did you like focus on one song at a time? What's your recording process like?
It was unique on this one. So we had unique schedules for all of the members during that
Yeah,
period.
8 people. Yeah, yeah.
So we got the basics done, and then we would layer on top of that, all the rhythm tracks. And then we would take our time and do the filigree and then add some of that final touch to it. And ironically, on the song Change, when I was recording that guitar solo, the studio's in a basement area, and my wife has a greenhouse outside of the door, and I was sitting on a chair recording the solos, and they were walking past me, going in and out to the greenhouse, planting plants, and they weren't paying any attention. And I thought it was really funny because it was two completely different worlds.
Mhm. So, Troy, OG8 is your main project. Are you involved in any other bands or anything? Is this your main?
This is all I'm doing. This is where I'm putting all of my effort, and everything from the past, moving forward to the future, is coming from OG8 for me.
Okay, and I was curious, having your own home studio, have you ever produced other bands there?
No, we want to keep it virgin for OG8.
That's great. That's great. And so another song I listened to was Dark Side. That's another great tune, and I liked it because again, it's just the title kind of say, okay, it's going to be like a darker song. It wasn't depressing or anything. It just kind of was another side of what you guys do, I guess. Yeah.
Yep.
You want to talk about what that's about or what that inspired that song?
Yeah. So that one is, excuse me, I have a little bit of a cold. That one it is a little bit dark. It
Dark
I'm
side.
trouble speaking about it. It was very cathartic to write, but as you listen to it, you would see it touches upon suicidal ideation, loss, grief. And so it's heavy stuff, it's heavy emotions. And for me personally, I lost some people very, very close to me, very tragically. And, you know, what's Troy and I have talked in depth about this stuff, but we really want to shine a light on mental health as well and bring an awareness. And, I think it's so important that we talk about that stuff because it is so stigmatized and it is in the dark. And it's also so common. So many people deal with depression or anxiety or so, you name it. There's all kinds of mental issues going on.
You look at somebody like Robin Williams, great comedian, made millions of people laugh, and ends up committing suicide. Nobody really knew that I guess for most of his life, he battled alcoholism. He battled depression. This all comes out years later. But again, a guy that spends his life making other people laugh, and everybody thinks he's just this happy-go-lucky guy.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So that song in particular, it touches upon all of that, and hence why it's called Dark Side.
Yeah, and I think why a song like that, or even Change, you get emotional talking about it, or people get emotional when they listen to it, is because being the songwriter, Jamie, it's like you're taking a page out of your own personal life and you're writing about something that you actually experienced, rather than just writing a song about something that happened to somebody else.
Yeah, for sure. And I've found, especially in the process with OG8, just as songwriting in general for me, it's interesting because it's a very healing experience. I do take from my own life experiences, but it's also, I wouldn't say that any one song in particular is about one particular
Sure,
person
sure.
or experience or thing.
Yeah,
So it's interesting because it's pulling from your own personal experience, but it's also just pulling from what the music is kind of giving you, what wants to come out in that energy from the
yeah,
music.
and I would imagine depending on what day you start writing a particular song, I guess depending on what you're going through that day or your mood that day, it could affect the whole
Hmm.
way the
Hmm.
song comes out. You know,
Possibly. Yeah.
I mean, I was curious, Troy. What do you think about
Sure.
that? Because I mean, like one thing I noticed about listening to like in the '80s, I love to listen to a lot of those guitar albums like by Satriani or Steve Vai and stuff. An interesting thing
Hmm.
to me is a lot of that stuff. What I really loved about it is like when I listen to a song, let's say like Change, I can feel the emotion she's singing about. I can feel it. Whereas something that's an instrumental song is maybe based more on what the guitar player is feeling at the time. It has maybe it's more to do with his emotion than a
Hmm.
particular subject. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah,
Like I said earlier, it was Clapton, Frampton, and Zeppelin that
mm,
I learned from. So, there's a lot of feel in that music.
yeah,
And then couple that with life experience, and it seems like it's a good combination to write about.
yeah. And so I was curious. You mentioned Clapton as an influence. Were you all into Cream?
Hmm. Definitely. Yeah. Anything Clapton. I mean, Clapton's God still.
Yeah, yeah. That's amazing. And I had a chance to interview Carmine Appice a couple times. Great legendary drummer. He used to play with Vanilla Fudge. And funny thing is, he was sharing with me when he played on the Ed Sullivan Show of all things. That's how far back this guy's career goes.
Wow.
But in the '60s, and it was amazing that I got to see a clip of him playing on that Ed Sullivan Show, and that was where he had his famous mustache.
Man, Carmine Appice. I had a one evening after a show in Hollywood. We were at the Rainbow, and I got to sit with them, and he's also a really kind person.
Yeah, he really
What a
is.
good guy.
Yeah, he really is. And him and his brother, you get them together. I mean, they're a comedy team. I mean, sadly, it's a piece.
Make it stop.
Yeah. So now, Jamie, you were sharing with us that you guys are, I guess, currently working towards your next album. How far into that are you guys?
Yeah, we are currently writing, recording. I'm actually going up there very soon to go lay down some vocals. We have about 6 songs. I mean, we have more than that in the works.
Oh,
We have a
sure,
ton of
sure.
songs.
Yeah, yeah,
But yeah, we're pretty good well in, yeah, we're pretty far in there. What am I trying to say? We're pretty far in there. um, we have 3 songs already for the new album, and we're working on 3 more right now. And then there's more that
oh,
we've been
yeah,
working
sure,
on as
sure.
well.
So I imagine you guys, like when you get into recording mode, you must revisit some stuff that maybe didn't make it onto the last album. Hey, let's go back and take a look at that, see if we can do something with. Yeah.
You bet. Yeah,
Yeah.
we absolutely. And they're gems too. I mean, things that you'd forgotten about.
I mean, that's why I urge people to go and check out the OG stuff. They can check out the album. It's up on YouTube and all the streaming services because just the 3 songs that we kind of went over, Dark Side, Woman, and Change, they're all very different sounding tunes. And I don't think they go and listen to the rest of the album. I don't think anybody's going to be disappointed. I think that's the hardest thing you guys are going to have, in recording the new tunes is uh, no doubt you can write songs. I think it's like, okay, well, we have the latest album kind of holding us up to. Songs got to be at least, that good. And I doubt that they will be.
That's
Well,
so
thank you.
nice of you. That's like nice of you.
Yeah, I say that because, here's a funny thing, when you listen to a song for the first time, you're trying to think, who do these guys are? Like when I heard "Woman" for the first time, yeah, kick ass rock tune, "Woman, Hear Me Roar." These are kind of some of the things I was thinking, and I was also thinking, Okay, like you don't really. What I love about the band, you guys don't really come across as trying to be a clone of anybody else. You got your own unique sound, and maybe that's because of Jamie being up front and her vocals and your guitar playing, your writing style, Troy. But
Mhm.
you guys got your own unique sound, and it doesn't come across as you're trying to be anybody else. You know, I think that's has a lot to do with your guitar playing, her your writing, and her voice. You know, all gelling together.
Wow, that is so nice of you to say that. That's a very nice compliment. Thanks, Jason.
Yeah, I think the best thing is, like I said, I still haven't heard the whole album, but I want to
Mhm.
do it when I have time to listen to the whole album in its entirety. And
Mhm.
I dig in what I'm hearing so far. So the best thing I tell people, just hearing the three songs, it left me wanting to hear the rest of the album.
Wow.
Yeah. So I don't think
That's
people would be
awesome.
disappointed. Yeah.
That's
That's
So
great.
awesome.
yeah. So
That's so
Troy,
nice.
you have a how many other guys play guitar in the band besides you?
Just me.
Oh, just okay. Now talk a little bit about that. I was curious having eight guys in the band. You'd think there'd maybe be a rhythm guitar player. So is that just you don't really like playing with other guitar players, or you just like? No, I'm just the reason I'm asking. Some bands they have two guitar players. I mean, Iron Maiden they have three guys now playing guitar because they didn't want to kick the other guy out of the band when the other guy came back.
Well, we actually had nine guitar players, and they just they kept turning into a pile of goo. So,
Wow.
so no, for me, it's to be able to be sonically, to be able to have fun in a band
Yeah, yeah,
is to have some structure, obviously,
yeah,
but be able to be free in the song, especially live. The studio is different, but to
yeah,
have a little bit of freedom and do that when you're playing live, kind of, without a net,
yeah, yeah.
it makes it more fun. And when you've got multiple guitar players, everything is more kind of structured
And I
and
guess it depends on the band. Like maybe it works for a band like Judas Priest or something like that. But
yeah.
um, I do think that oftentimes when there are two or three guitar players in a band, oftentimes there's a lot of showboating and they're competing to see hey,
Yep.
who can solo the fastest.
Exactly. Yeah. Or the loudest.
Whereas you being the producer guy, you come across as a guy that plays for the song. Not
Mhm.
about showboating.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessary. I mean, we've got everybody in the band, in my opinion, are all equals.
Oh, that's good, and that must be a hard thing to do when you have eight guys in the band that you're able to do it at least. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it took us about, I don't know, 40 years to be an overnight success.
Oh, there you go. Well, I mean, I can't believe some of my favorite bands I grew up. I mean, Troy, I'm getting a point in life. Probably you're about the same age as me. That
Yep.
you look at some of my favorite bands like Deep Purple. They've been doing it like for 60 years or something like that.
Right.
Peter Frampton. Frampton Comes Alive. That came out 50 years ago. I can't. I was curious. You brought up Frampton, and obviously that's an influence. But were you at all a fan of him and Humble Pie?
Yeah, everything. And even Procol Harum,
Yeah,
with I don't know, some of that music when you go all the way back,
yeah, yeah,
it's amazing. Robin Trower,
yeah.
Procol Harum.
That's great.
Yeah.
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 Before we wrap it up, Jamie, who are some of your influences as far as the singers that influenced you?
Oh man, there's so many. We'll be here all night if I list them. But
No,
no,
your top
for
two or
me,
three. Yeah.
I told you previously, but I love big female vocalists because I just love hearing what they're doing and trying to learn from them, and I just love it. It fills my soul up. So I would say definitely, obviously, the legends, Whitney Houston, Mariah Carey, of course, Ann Wilson from Heart, Janis Joplin. All these. There's so many great female vocalists that are just insane. So definitely those for sure.
Yeah, Ann Wilson. I mean, she's right. She's right at the top there. I
She's the
mean,
queen.
Barracuda, and then she can do something like These Dreams Are Alone. Yeah,
Yeah,
Right.
she's ridiculously good. Yeah,
yeah. I mean,
amazing.
yeah. Well, I'd like to thank you guys for taking the time to do this. Hopefully, this will come out the way it's supposed to. I think it will. Um, I,
If
I,
not, we'll do it again.
yeah, I definitely
Agree.
want to say, you guys are a great team. I think Jamie's ultimate front woman. I love, the woman video. People got to check that out. And you got the right attitude. And I was watching your reels It's up on your Facebook page, Jamie, for the woman video, I guess, when you were
Oh,
recording.
cool.
And attitude just is spilling out there. Yeah.
Yeah, I got plenty of it.
That's a
Troy knows.
Yes, she does.
Sitting here and talking to you, you come across very kind of soft spoken. You know, you got the rock and roll feel thing going, but like watching that lyric video, man, the attitude is coming out, but as it should.
Yeah, it definitely has to on that song. And I, I'm the artist like that. Truly, I'm an introvert. At home or just off stage, I'm an introvert, and then I get on stage, and I'm the extrovert.
All right,
so,
right. Well,
yeah.
Thanks, guys. I will be posting this later tonight. I'll send you the link once it's up. Thanks for doing this. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
And we'll see OG8 again in 2026. I'll have you guys back. Thanks again.
All right. Thanks, man.
Bye-bye.